Lousy submissions. Let's see, who do I want to use? Let me use Peter. Okay. Oh, do you want me to use it? Okay. One of my favorite lousy submissions is what's known as a koga come along. Okay, it's still unfortunately being used by a lot of police agencies. It's a good submission. It's an okay submission technique. There are better ways to deal with it, and the koga come along is, again, regardless of the attack, you're coming around here, you bring it around, palm faces you, you grab the hand outside and outside the thumb. It's vertical. You don't want it bent. Okay, it's vertical. You're grabbing the wrist, and this is perpendicular to the ground, and then you twist, raise and twist. Okay, okay. It's a submission. Okay, weaknesses of the submission. Number one, I am looking at his elbow. Number two, I can't see what his body is doing. His body is blocking everything for me to see. Number three, I can't see what his right leg will do. Number four, the only direction you can go with this is essentially backwards, safely. If you go forwards, you lose him. Okay, unless you really crank this up and break the wrist. Okay, so I want you to start out this way. Okay, and I want you to set it fairly securely, but keep in mind that this is, if you really hold it secure and tight, and you can snap the person's wrist. It takes a lot of work. Okay, relative. Okay, because he's not just going to stand there and smile at you. Okay. Okay, what I want you to set this, and I want him, and you're going to have to use some good judgment here on letting this slip. I want him to be able to move into you, to be able to strike you with his elbow, which is all he has to do is sidestep into me. Sidestep into me. Okay, oh, he's being so nice. He's not going for my face. Okay.
That's the limit.
What?
You keep it that way, that's why.
Okay. Here's better. Into the eye is even better. Temple is cool. Okay, this is a bad thing. Okay, he can come in and he can simulate striking my right foot, smashing down. Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead with the other foot. Sidestep in. Sidestep in. Okay, and I can't even see that. Okay, but I want this person to try various things and maybe walk forward in a circle this way towards me. Come around in a tight circle. See, and he can. It's out. It's out. You know, it's a bad. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to keep. He can also go down. Okay. There's a lot of things he can do. What I want you to do now, and if he can use two hands, and the problem is, even if I see this hand coming over here, unless I'm really willing to break his wrist, there's not too much I can do. Okay? Okay, now he's becoming difficult. Okay, what I want you to do, okay, we'll tell you the Gengetsu story another time. Okay, okay, what I want you to do is you can start this way, and basically what you have here is a wrist twist. This right here is your basic hold. This here is to keep it in one place. That's essentially what's happening with the technique. Okay. So what I want you to do, okay, is instead of relying on this, is I simply want you, and this is going to come back to something that Hal did earlier. Okay, and my students know. All I want you to do is bend this back and extend your index finger. Okay, that's all I want you to do. And now let him try any of those items. Go ahead. Try coming with your elbow. And he won't do it now because you see, okay. He can't sidestep into me. Now, if he does this, which way does he want to go? Okay, he wants to go forward, so I'm going to go up to here. Okay, and I'm back to where I was, which is here. Okay. The other thing you want to do, if you can, you want to be difficult. If you want to be slightly behind him. If you're even with him on this, it's not going to. You've got to be behind him slightly. Okay. So whatever he tries, like he tried putting his, okay, you need to be able to come up with something to counter him and go back into this. Okay, all you need, that doesn't have to hurt him, it's a distraction. Oh, I'm sorry, I heard a click there. I'm sorry. Okay, stick your finger in his ear. He moved his head, which is why I couldn't get it the first time. Okay, but I'm sorry. But do a distraction, shark bite, and you don't know what a shark bite is yet, do you? You do? Oh, good. But do something where you can maintain this hold. This hold is a lot easier to maintain than this. And the wrist press is easier to maintain with one hand than two hands. Why? Why is it easier to maintain some of these locks with one hand than two hands?
You can use the other hand in case he attacks.
Right, you've got the other hand to do things with. Okay, that's the advantage. Okay. This is a secure hold if it's set as within certain constraints. This is a better hold because I have more places I can go with it. I can go forward. Okay, I can go backwards. I can take him down. I can take him up. I can go almost any direction I want with differing pressures either by my index finger or my thumb. That's what's doing all the work. Okay? And if he wants to go that way, fine, we can go that way and go a little bit and then come back the other way. You can have a little fun and games with your uke. Just be nice to Ulian, because I don't want to have to deal with Canadian medical care, which is better than medical care in this country. But anyway, I think. Anyway, am I right? Or you don't know? Or, okay.
Well, I've been 2 times, with the emergency I had to wait for 5 hours.
That hurts.
Take care of you, but
It takes time. Yeah, depends what's wrong with you too, right? Or is it just...
Not enough
One time I went to the emergency room and I didn't have to wait. They didn't ask for my insurance. They wheeled me right back. I knew I was in trouble. When they wheel you right back, you know you're in trouble.
Yes.
You're better off waiting because you know you're not in trouble.
I mean, when I had my heart attack, I think I got in and had the angioplasty and the stent, and I was intensive care in under an hour and a half. And I was conscious during most of the angioplasty, etc. I was talking with the doctors, and they were telling me what they were doing, and I could watch it on the monitors. It's absolutely cool.
It's happening to someone else.
And I was so happy they took me to Henry Mayo here rather than the HMO I belong to, which is Kaiser, because Kaiser probably would have shipped me from Panorama City down to Sunset in Hollywood, and that would have been 3-4 hours before I hit the table. And anyway, so back to this. Just work with this person, play with the technique, okay? Have them try and get over and apply the pressure as appropriate with your thumb or index finger, and you'll be amazed at what you can do. Yes.
So Sensei, this hold, the way it's originally used by the police, you don't like it because of all the weaknesses?
I don't like this one because to me it's inherent.
Bring it down straight and he can't really go after
his easiest way out of this, other than this, is simply to go down straight.
But then you said, then you can get him in another...
Well, see, I wouldn't put a person in...
Right.
I would never use this. Okay, if he brings it down straight and I'm still holding on, at that point, I'll just go with him. You help your attacker. Yeah, sure, it looks sucky that I've got to turn a couple times, but I've still got hold of this, okay? And that's what you have to remember. Once you've got something, it's like fishing. Once the fish is on the hook, you let it do the work. Then you reel him in, or whatever sex it is. Okay, so I want you to get your partner. I want you to get into this wrist lock, one-handed. Okay, and if you have trouble setting this up, say sensei. So anyway, we're going to take, for lack of a better phrase, we're going to take a hit. He's going to hit. Okay, I'm going to block it across, take him down, go into wrist lock takedown. Okay, life is good. Okay, I am here. Okay, now, let's say that for some reason, okay, and this is a normal submission, and you can go down and, there are other variations you can go. Let's turn you around a little bit this way so they can see what's going on. Okay, you're here, okay, and you're trying to be nice, so you're just pressing down, okay. You can also drop your knee down, okay, and brace him against your inner thigh and let go with your hand. You've still got a wrist lock, a shoulder lock press, okay? That's fine. He may, however, if you give him some room, he's going to do one of two things. And if you slack off, if you don't get this up here, and notice I'm keeping hold of his hand. This is all that I really want to use, okay? If I give him room, he can do one of two things easily, okay? One, he can flip over. Go that way, okay, which is fine. Okay, you keep the same hold. It's a wrist press. A wrist press is a wrist press is a wrist press. Yeah, I could put my knee on him too, but I want you to try just keeping what you've got, okay? He could, from here, try and kick me. Not going to work, smart.
Right.
No. Okay. He can, from here, if I don't apply enough pressure, he can turn into me, and he's going to grab something, okay? And again, if I just press, we have to realize once you have a legitimate hold, you need to use it. Okay. No, I'm not trying to be, well, I don't know what the term is. If you've got a legitimate hold, it will work. You have to be willing to use it. And if your uke is going to turn into you and try something, you press down, it's going to cause him more pain. He needs to know this. You need to learn it. Okay? It's critical. As long as you don't break his wrist, you're okay. And if you break his wrist, it's his fault. He should have tapped out. I mean, you do feel bad, but that's the reality. He should have tapped out. He shouldn't have done this. Okay, he was being, what's the R word?
Ridiculous.
He was, what?
Ridiculous.
Well, he was ridiculous, but it starts with an R, the second letter is E.
Resisting.
He was resisting. So he caused the injury, not you. Okay, all you did was maintain the hold. Okay, there are a lot of things he can do. Okay, if you don't hold it down, he can even sit up. Sit up. Okay, second hand comes into play. You got your wrist lock. Just give it a base. Okay, if he sits up, okay, fine. You can help him over. Okay, now you can go someplace with him. Okay, but you still have your wrist lock. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to set this, whatever you do, take him down, put him in a wrist press. Okay, wrist press, wrist lock, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I want him to maneuver in different directions. Get up, sit up, roll over, say spot, whatever he wants to do. I want you to maintain this wrist press, even if you have to put it into something else, so that this is called a wrist lock or arm lock, okay? It's basically proper, almost, okay? But all it is a wrist press, and you're providing a base. If the ground is not the base, part of you has to be the base, okay? He can't be the base, unfortunately, okay? Well, let's see if he could. Go down. Let's see. Could you be the base? Yeah, he could be the base. But I wouldn't come this close. Why not? Well, he might try kicking, but he can bite me, and it's very easy for him to turn in and pull me over unless I'm willing to break his wrist. Or unless he's willing to break his wrist. Okay? So I want you, whatever contortions, etc., let him, the key to this is once the person is going in a particular direction, don't try to fight it. Trying to hold a person in a position they don't want to be in, other than using the particular hold, is not going to get you really anywhere. It's a lot of wasted energy. Because in Jiu-Jitsu, you are taught to what another person? Help them. So if you're doing this and he really wants to get up, okay, fine, let him get up. That's his privilege. Okay, you help him. but I want you to maintain the basic hold. And that's a hard thing to get students to do, because they let go of something and they don't know what to get into, and they start fumbling around, etc. And that's where they get messed up. And Seki was really big on this. He said, once you've got a hold, your life depends on maintaining that hold, regardless of whatever he does. If you can maintain the hold, you're going to be, you're going to be successful. So I don't care what technique you want to get the person down, or if you want to start out with him lying, if you want to start out with your uke lying down and you're doing this one-handed or two-handed, fine, hunky-dory. I really recommend, if you can, do it one-handed, because it gives you more flexibility when he starts moving around, because it's easier to hold with one hand than it is trying to hold with two. Okay, even though it may seem flaky. Okay, we want Paul to wake up, otherwise the camera's going to go. Okay, let's go. Enough of La Boca. I usually end up dealing with law enforcement over this, and it's just so much easier to use. It's the initial person I spoke to, God, it must have been like 15, 20 years ago, was in the Secret Service at the time. I get this phone call at home. This is in Washington, D.C. We heard you have this really great come-along hold. Can you describe it to me over the phone? My first question was, do you have two hands? And he said, yes. I said, okay, we can proceed. I said, take one hand and look at the back of it. I said, take your other hand, I won't use your, take your other hand, rest it at a 90-degree angle on the back of his hand. Do you see your three fingers? Yes. Do you see his little finger under your three fingers? Yes. Grab the finger. Okay? This is it. And all you're going to do is bend this finger back. And this gives you a phenomenal control hold. He can do anything he wants, and you can let him, you can walk him in anywhere you want, up, down, etc. I've seen law enforcement people take two people out of crowds this way. It's extremely low visibility. I've used it on students, or actually or gang members, because of the junior high taught out, we were frequently visited at OV by gang members. And one of the nice things about OV was that most of the kids belonged to one gang. And so usually someone really stupid from another gang would come on campus, and there were actually instances where the school would turn out to beat up this kid, and then we'd have to come rescue this high school or adult gang member who was beat up by a bunch of junior high kids, and he would then be arrested for trespassing. It's embarrassing, it doesn't, for him, yeah. Nothing for him. But anyway, this is very, very low volume. It takes a lot of pressure to actually separate and dislocate this little finger joint, and you can cause an incredible amount of pain. Where did I get the idea from? One of my junior high kids who in the 1970s walked into class as one of those exercise things, and I saw that and I said, that's cool. And he had no idea what I was talking about. I said, I don't think I had jiu-jitsu going at that time except after school. I said, can I try something on you, and I promise I won't hurt you too much? And the kid says, okay, if you promise not to hurt me. So I tried. I said, I just got it to here, and he said, ow. And I said, okay, that's all I need to know. But that's where the technique came from. Okay, no ancient tradition or anything. So what I want you to do is try this. And I want this person, slack off so they can walk anywhere, or they want to turn around, they want to raise their arm up, and all I want you to do to reestablish control is to pull the little finger across. Don't pull it back. That's not going to work too long, and it doesn't hurt that much. But if you pull it across, it's very effective. And I want you to try it with both hands, okay? And just try it a little bit. And you can even do this if he's on the ground. You've done whatever technique you've done, okay, and you happen to have him, okay, and oops, I can't even get okay, here I am. Okay, no, that
Let me on the other side.
I can't even get this set up on the ground.
Let me on the other side.
Try the other.
Look over here.
Try it.
It's the other reflection.
No, that's not going to work.
There you go.
There we are. No, that's not it. That's it.
The finger hold.
That's what I want. Okay. Yeah, I'm set. Okay. Now on the ground it's not going to do much, but if I want him to get up, okay, again, if I up, sir, up, 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 up. You got to give verbal commands. This is really important on submissions if you want them to work well. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, it's swinging around here. Oh, I got to twist the wrist. Twist the wrist is even better. Okay, that's what I forgot to do. Okay, but if you can twist the wrist, you can go backwards with them, forwards. I want you to play with this person. You can take this into shoulder lock or takedown. Okay, you can go into a hip throw with it. It'll work. May not be good for him.
See, something that I have an issue.
Yes.
I really like my pinky on this side of my hand.
I know that. Okay, but
I'm a little old-fashioned
okay,
that way.
what I want you to realize is that the pinky will move surprisingly well, and you can create a lot of pain. And pain, if you're having this done to you, I mean, you've got to use some good judgment. But if you know how much pain your body will tolerate, and you accept that pain, you can counter techniques to some extent. As long as the person doesn't break something, you're okay, because the pain will disappear. The problem occurs when you if you get really sharp pain, you need to stop. But if it's constant pain, nothing's really happening. Yes, sir.
Sensei, for this hold, is this different from the other one in terms of, remember the thumb? You told me my thumb had to be in
Okay.
that notch.
For this one, the thumb is resting
On the fat of the thumb,
on the fat base of the thumb.
instead of at the notch, like,
And I'm not at the notch anymore.
like the other one. Got it.
Yeah, because that doesn't put as much pressure on the little finger. I'm not after the wrist anymore. Okay, and this is just here for a brace as a base. This is the base, and all I'm doing is this. Okay. So I want you to try this with your uke for a little bit, then we need to go to something more serious. Okay, he has to move his body. Okay, and again, I need to operate on the basis of feel, and because I have eyesight, I can also use that. The only thing I'm going to watch with eyesight are his shoulders, if anything. Okay, because old judo rule says you watch his shoulders, and that will tell you what hand the arm he's going to attack with, whether he's going to kick, how he's going to move his body. The shoulders usually are, pardon the pun, a dead giveaway. Okay, because there are many times when you're not going to see the attack coming if it's a hit or a kick, but you've got to move your body to protect yourself, get the blocks up, etc., before you actually see what's coming at you. Okay, and that's why, for lack of better, you're using kind of your peripheral vision. Don't stare at their shoulders. If you let your vision relax, you'll see them. Okay, one more I want to do while we have the time. This is going to be for I'm going to take my eyes off too. I've already taken my ears out. The bionic sensei is no longer bionic. Okay, okay, and I need someone to put me in a headlock. And we're going to deal with a really common problem that people have in dealing with.
Rear or side?
What?
Rear or side?
Side. Okay. And you're familiar with this technique. You can sit down. You can go for a nerve. You can do a shark bite. Whatever it is, you're coming down and you're bringing this person here. Now, let go for a second. He keeps hold of you. Oh my God! He's holding the headlock. Okay. The reason you have been practicing moving, doing your footwork, pivoting back, turning, etc., is because this is where I want him to land right in front of me. This is where I want him. I do not want any crotch space, okay? Because he still has me in a headlock, okay? And I'm going to be as nice to Thomas as I can. Because what happens is when people get in the headlock here, and they say, oh, do I hit him? What can I do? And they spend a hell of a lot of time trying all sorts of things that are not really that painful, okay? are going to work that well. Yeah, you can do shark bites and you can hit him in the face if you can, but if he has half a brain, okay, he's not going to stay here. He's going to roll so that he can put you under him, okay, because he's got some gray matter up there too, and you need to prevent that as well, because by being over him like this, I am essentially off balance. Not really, but I am. Okay. Now, how do I change that so I'm in a balanced position and deal with his headlock? Okay, which he's not being nice and he's maintaining. Okay, when he's here, I've done this. All I want to do is take this forearm, bring it down under his chin, make a fist. Left hand grabs my fist. The reason I'm this way is so I can put all my weight onto the side of his neck, and I'm going to push down until he lets go, or until his neck moves to the left, his right shoulder. Okay?
Under the nerves right here?
You're going down under here. You're pressing down hard. Okay? If that doesn't seem to be working fast enough for you, you then do a little judo cheat, which Seki taught. He says you can get away. He taught all sorts of stuff that, as long as you don't get caught, you're okay. But if you get caught, you'll get one warning, then you're disqualified. And that is when you're down here, and this is in a fist sideways, if he's not reacting fast enough, rather than trying to push down more, start vibrating it side to side. And that tends to be as annoying as hell. Okay, and I haven't run into a person yet who hasn't let go with that. Okay. So if he's here and, okay, you're here, and this comes in, and he's still holding on, just start vibrating it. Okay, just vibrate it. Massage the side of his neck with your ulnar. Yeah, just start vibrating. That's why God put that there. Okay. Okay, he'll let go, and once he lets go, okay, you're in here, he lets go, okay, fine. Then you just wrap around, set your arm bar. Okay, this is not a good arm bar. What it is. Okay, I'm resting. I can rest my hand on me. I can rest it on him. I'm not going to try and set it up with two hands because he's too far to my left. Okay, what I can do from here, and I want you to go through this sequence, is you can take this leg, bring it over. Okay, and now I'm sitting on him, and now I can hit him. Okay. I could also, if I want to come up a little bit, bring this leg over, hook over, but then that puts me on the ground, and I prefer this position. Okay, if I want to dislocate his elbow, all I've done is trapped it. All I have to do, okay, one way, what I used to do years ago to dislocate an elbow is I used to pull up. Okay, then I learned to thrust my hips forward like you were doing. Okay, if you thrust your hips forward, okay, and you're under the elbow, you can dislocate. What's happening is, by thrusting your hips forward, it forces you to straighten up. It's a very natural movement. Okay? So I want you to try this sequence. Get out of the headlock, put him in an arm bar, okay? This is a safer position. This is the position I would feel safe in. Okay? Now, if you're going to hit his face, okay, I would not advise hitting with a fist. Okay? You want to have a palm strike to the cheekbone. Okay? Don't hit his jaw. It's hard. Don't hit his teeth. They're expensive. Okay? Go for the cheekbone. It's a relatively minor injury in most cases. It's messy as hell. It bleeds a lot. It's very painful, and he can't see what's happening. So it's psychologically scary. Because you've got a wide open shot here. Okay? Or if you want to be like Ilyan, you can take your finger and just go for a nerve and press down and stick it in his ear. If you want to practice some Kitsugo, you take your finger, stick it in his ear, and start turning it around. Okay? And see if you can have it come out the other side. Okay? Okay.
Little exploratory surgery.
Yeah, but they're fun. I mean, Kitsugo would even, he's got a nostril there. Fine, stick your finger up his nostril and turn it. Okay. If you do that, he will dislocate his own elbow. You want to know why? Because if you stick it up his nostril, what's your natural body reaction going to be? He's going to turn out, usually arc that way. Okay, and as he arcs that way, it turns his arm, and he'll dislocate his own arm. and all you were doing was checking his breathing. Okay, so you don't have to do the nostril ear, you're reaching down for their leg, or you have to turn their head to get something. On a street situation, you can't afford to waste your time with that. You have to go with what you got and what's easily accessible, okay? And if you're in some sort of randori, this would be a great submission. It's fast, it's over with soon. I don't know if that's still legal in judo. I know this is not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That inflicts a lot of pain, and they put rules for no pain, pretty much.
But you know,
No pain in judo.
it was legal in the 60s and 70s. Why not? Anyway, but you know, it doesn't. You know, like I said, if you know it's painful, you know it works, so it's something to add to your repertoire. Going into the arm bar from that position is easy to do. The arm is there. You just go for it, okay? You could have gone around and turned your body around and gone for an arm bar the other way with your head, back of your head on the guy's chest, okay? That was another option. When I was younger, I probably would have preferred that, okay, because it was, you know, nicer looking. But simply setting that arm bar when he's on his side and stepping over and having him set, to me, is a lot faster, and there's less of a risk of him being able to counter. And that's another thing you also have to work on submissions, is you want to set up submissions that are not easy to counter, okay? Because if you have a good submission, the other person is not going to get out of it. Okay, and also if you don't have a good submission, one of the realities is you need to do something fast that will work to distract him, so you can set your submission or take the opponent out. There are a lot of things that are illegal, even like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you know, from Kitsugo, and some of the black belts know this. You know, if you can't do anything else, you know, you rip a cheek, or you bite the nose, or you split the fingers apart. You know, these are things that are none of which are ethical, but if it's you or him, you know, almost anything can be fixed. So you know, what I'm saying, don't be afraid to protect yourself. Okay, because I'd much rather have to explain myself in front of a judge or a jury, okay, as to be looking up at 6 feet of compacted soil with soft